Heyo, you're tuning into Toasted Time, where I cook your time with some Reddit stories. Right now, we've got relationships where OP's wife cheats, but then immediately confesses to it. Our first story is by Throwaway's sad husband. My wife cheated on me 4 days ago, and she went to visit her parents, and while staying there, she went out with some of her old childhood friends. They went to a bar and had drinks, and there was this guy hitting on her the entire night. And one thing led to another, and she had S with him in his car. Afterwards, she was horrified and scared, and she ran to her parents' house where she started panicking and crying, and she told them what she did. 2 days ago, she came home and immediately sat me down to confess, and I was already stressed from work, so hearing this didn't help. I was enraged, and somehow I kept my rage in check and asked her to explain. She didn't hide anything. She told me everything in detail. She was crying, but not excessively. I guess she understood that tears wouldn't change anything. So she gave me her phone, told me that her parents know, and said that she would like to try and rebuild the trust and our marriage. And she will do whatever she needs and whatever I want, but also that she will accept whatever I decide. For the past 2 days, I have felt nothing but numbness. We barely eat, and we haven't said more than a few words to each other. I sleep in another room, and I don't eat what she prepares. I cook for myself now, and she doesn't like it. It makes her even more sad. She doesn't go out of our room, and she's mostly crying, talking to herself or reading the internet on what she can do. And here is what I'm thinking. Option 1 is the easy and probably best solution, which is divorce. There is no trusting a cheater, and there's nothing she can do to bring back time and return how things used to be. Or option 2, a somewhat optimistic but painful solution, is reconciliation. She came clean on her own, willing to give up her phone and accounts, and told me the same story to her parents, which makes her somewhat trustworthy. Her father messaged me to think about it, but said that he will understand whatever I decide. She is ready to do whatever she needs to rebuild the marriage. I thought about couples counseling, but I'm not sure if I want to go there, because I didn't cause this. She did. One person destroyed this, not two. I don't know what to do here. This was the last thing I needed in my life, but here we are. Is it normal to feel nothing? Right now, I don't feel anything. It's like I just don't care anymore. You know, I've thought about how to respond to this, and I wanna take a different look at this and trust, because there's a lot more to it than just there is no trusting a cheater. Because trust is an inherent thing that just exists. You walking up to a stranger, you have trust in that stranger to not be a complete and utter psycho. You have trust that they're going to be a normal, average human being who is not going to go AWOL all of a sudden and just really fridge up your mojo. There's an inherent amount of trust there. However, if that same stranger were to act insane and, let's say, commit physical acts upon you, whatever that may amount to, then that trust is gotten rid of because the trust no longer exists there. So you have inherent trust on everyone you talk to that they're not going to fridge you over. However, if they do fridge you over, that inherent trust gets completely obliterated because you can't trust them at that rate. So from that, I then have to ask, how do you rebuild trust when there is no solid ground? Right? Does that make sense? Like she says that she is willing to rebuild trust. But that inherent trust to not fridge you over has just been obliterated. She has fridged you over completely, and just by the pure whims. Like, this is like you, OP, trying to build a bridge while you have a pyromaniac on the other side of the creek. Like, you're not gonna build a bridge. Sorry, pyromaniac who feels like burning anything just at mere whims. Like, she gets drunk once and with her friends, and all of a sudden she's cheating on you. Like, that, I'm gonna be completely honest, part of me almost wants to say that was planned, because how does that happen? You go from having a long relationship to where you guys are married, and then she goes out with friends once, and all of a sudden she's cheating. That is weird. That is just weird. I don't have any implications there that I can make. It is just weird. But what I want to say is, OP, you guys have, I'm assuming, had a great relationship until right now, because she came forward and she told you about this, and she's crying, she's doing yada 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 about trying to beg for forgiveness and all that stuff. You guys had a, I'm assuming, great relationship, and the moment she had a chance to burn a bridge, she decided to do it. There was no hesitation. She did it in the car. There was no hesitation of, hey, let's go to this location. She wanted it like now and done. There was no hesitation in cheating on you. Or at least I assume there was no hesitation, because why would you do it in the car at that rate? If there was hesitation of, oh, we shouldn't be doing this is wrong, then you would have went to a house, a secret house at that, or secret house, would have went to a house and done it. But no, she just wanted it now and done, and it's like, she burned a bridge on a pure whim of, so you can't, it goes further than just not being able to trust a cheater. You just can't trust her. Period. Not even the fact that she's a cheater, you just can't trust her anymore. So how can you rebuild trust on ground that doesn't exist? So I guess if I were to put a kibosh on this, I would have to say I am stuck between a rock and a hard place. One side of me is saying you just can't trust her, and so you should divorce her, because if there's no trust, then there is nothing. But then the other part of me is saying that, I mean, she's obviously remorseful, or at least I would say I would believe that she's being remorseful of her doing what she did, so technically you could rebuild something, but is it worth it at that rate? I don't know. So I'm torn between two things. I'm not entirely sure as to what the answer is on this entire thing. Because if I'm being completely honest, I think I'd just be too mentally broken to make a decision. Kind of like what Opie is doing right now. But, yeah, anywho, continuing on. So, due to me not having my own foolproof idea as to what I would recommend OP do, I will read some comments on what people who have been through something similar has gone through. They go by Ho Ferris. I experienced something very similar and chose option 2. No phones or anything like that back then, so there was less opportunities to reconnect. It is a very difficult path where building trust was hard. I had anxiety if she would travel, and rebuilding trust took years. We're still together 25 years later. I am old, and I have to tell you that I unfortunately recommend option 1. Even if I have never divorced, it can't possibly be as hard as what I went through. And then decades later, it still hurts, and you can attest to the fact that the trust may not ever fully rebuild. Every outing, every giggle at her own phone, now, not then, every little action would be a reminder. I'm not advising to immediately divorce, but I would caution Opie to take a good, deep look at if he will be able to truly and completely forgive her. That is a big ask, and not to bring it up at every tiff to allow her to prove her trust. All the many murky things that come from cheating. Only OP can know if he will truly and fully be able to trust her after the years of work it will take to get there. I know what you're thinking. Do I really want to throw away a whole relationship over one incident? But here is the thing. She did. I don't know why, but it bothers me so much that she told her parents before him. What if one of his stipulations was that he didn't want anyone else knowing? She still didn't give a frig about how he would feel. I would divorce, but it is his life. For me, it bothers me that they had S in the guy's car. Like, they were so into it that they needed to do it right then and there and couldn't even bother to go to his house or hotel room or something. Car S can be hot, but since she's married, it just makes her seem even more desperate to get the deed done and over with. And, yeah, I guess that's where I should leave it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below on that, because I'm mentally broken on this whole entire thing, because I am stuck between a rock and a hard place here. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Would you divorce, or would you try and reconcile the relationship from this point forward? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Anyways. Now, before we continue on, I just want to ask that if you are enjoying this so far, that you consider recommending this channel to friends and family, or just people you know, cause the help for this channel is greatly appreciated. So, to continue on, and the final story comes from Objective Peak. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 12 years now, and I first met him in high school and we were friends for a few years. We lost touch after he graduated, but ended up reconnecting when I was in college, and we've been together since. About 7 years ago, we were at a crossroads. His friend had passed away suddenly in an accident, and he proceeded to spiral. He started trying drugs, staying out all night, engaging in very reckless behavior, and it truly scared me. I tried everything to pull him out of it, and it took a lot of work and me almost leaving him to start putting his life back together. But time for a little bit of a backstory. I work for my family's business, and I have worked for the family business since I was 18 years old, and honestly, it would be great if I didn't have to work with the same people I see on the holidays. My family can be, in a word, toxic. There is a lot of infighting and drama, and working with them is similar to our personal lives, stressful and chaotic. When my grandmother passed away about 3 years ago, I was willed some liquid assets that had belonged to her and my grandfather, gems, jewelry, precious metal, etc., and their house they had since the 60s. And honestly, it was a blessing. With that inheritance, I finally felt like I could pull free from my family and get out of the family business and take time to go back to school and do something I was passionate about. However, I had no savings at the time and I wanted to get a decent amount saved before I quit. At this time, an opportunity opened up at work. The pay was way higher but required 4 to 7 months of travel time a year. I talked it over with my boyfriend and we decided that we only needed 2 years to save up for what we needed. I took the job and prepared to leave for 2 months for training at the main branch. And about a month into my training, my boyfriend suddenly quit his job with no explanation other than, I can't work there anymore. I was concerned about our financial goals because of this, but he swore up and down that he would get a new one shortly and that we wouldn't need any help with his personal bills. Well, a year went by and he had only taken up gig work and temp jobs. I wasn't happy as I was having to travel all the time and was having to be really frugal in order to get all our joint bills paid while also putting in money into savings. He was managing to pay his own bills, so I let it slide since he tossed in what he could to the joint pile as well. Now I'm sitting here about to complete my 2 years and my boyfriend has decided to come clean to me. For the past 2 years, while I've been working a job that has been soul-crushing and has had me away from home for weeks to months at a time, I've missed birthdays, weddings, friends' baby showers, etc. I have sacrificed the last 2 years of my life to make enough to be able to live my life the way I want to. And he tells me last week that he has been paying his personal bills by selling the things my grandparents had willed me that I had left in a safe that was hidden in the house. A safe he only had access to because of the hunting rifle that was in there, and I thought, that he wouldn't do that to me. I'm honestly in shock. It was a substantial amount and it makes me nauseous to even try to quantify it right now. I've already set in motion quitting my job and have given notice, and now I have much less than I thought I did. He only told me because he had figured a way to pay me back and had gotten a stable job and was planning on using most of his paycheck to give it to me until I was made whole. But this honestly just disgusts me. I feel so violated, and more than that, I wonder if this is his go-to pattern now. Life is stressful, and a lot of change is happening, and he just self-destructs? After what he put me through 7 years ago, I don't know if I can look past this. Yes, he came clean to me, but I just can't seem to get past this feeling. I look at him and just feel nothing right now. It is breaking my heart because I really care for him, and yet I just can't see anything changing. I feel so conflicted. We've been together for so long and even have all the same friends and share a life together. Will we be able to come back from this, or is this what falling out of love feels like? You know, this is like the story of Sisyphus, but OP, you're trying to push your boyfriend to be a good person when the boyfriend just wants to be a bad person. Well, yeah, bad. Well, the term bad is subjective here, but I'm saying bad because he's just overall not a good boyfriend, period. End of statement. Maybe not a bad person, but just bad boyfriend. And so, like, OP, you're trying to push him in the right direction, but every single time you do that, what has he done? He's done more leeching, and more leeching, to the point of where you no longer have an inheritance. I would say try and get that money back. I don't know how you would do that. Some people are in the comments saying like the courts or like set up a notary or something like that. But I think overall I would say that the relationship is done. I don't know how you could exactly come back from this, because this is more or less the second time you've now had to stoop to him to try and pull him back up. And what has that done in the past? It has led you further down than you started. So it would just be a mistake. It would be, to be completely honest, it would be dumb to try and recuperate this relationship, because you wouldn't be learning from history at that rate. What has history taught you about your boyfriend? It is that when you help him, he backstabs you. And that is just, that probably not a mistake that you would want to recreate, you know? But, yeah, let me know what you're thinking down below. Anyways, well, that is about it for those stories today. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. But aside from that, I post 2 new videos every day, so I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.